We are less bored than our ancestors, but much more afraid of boredom. Boredom is something most of us try to avoid in some way. We are scared of it, and facing all the undesired thoughts that occupy our mind can be callous. But boredom is one of the best things that can happen to you, and is something that changed the lives of many individuals. Right now, we live in a world where people are constantly trying to escape boredom. Most people are constantly trying to fill up their time with meaningless activities. They would rather do anything than be bored. People are so afraid to stay alone with their thoughts, and boredom can indeed be very uncomfortable. What can we say? When now most people can't even go to the bathroom without taking their phone. By constantly trying to escape boredom, you'll create an inability to stay alone with your thoughts. As a result, you'll lose touch with yourself and what you want in life. Your creativity will most likely decrease to zero, as you don't give your mind any time to think. And if so, how are you supposed to come up with any great idea? Escaping boredom will also largely impact your focus. If you constantly numb yourself with activities that create large increases in dopamine and in pleasure, everything else will seem boring and meaningless to you. However, if you spend a lot of time alone being bored with your thoughts, most of the activities you know you have to do but don't because they may seem boring will be much easier to execute. Building a business, studying, and other not easy tasks will require much less mental friction to execute, because they are all more exciting than just staying alone with your thoughts. You see, your procrastination would most likely disappear if your other alternative would be simply doing nothing. But because you can scroll TikTok all day and play a video game instead, it becomes much harder. Boredom may not be extremely exciting. While it definitely doesn't bring a lot of pleasure, but it can completely change your life. Boredom is what leads to analyzing and understanding yourself. It leads to your mind going to a creative state and coming up with new ideas you have never thought about before. Now I want to talk about some of the greatest people in the history of our world and how boredom led them to come up with revolutionary ideas and change the world. The first person I want to talk about is Isaac Newton and his famous story of discovering gravity. Newton's discovery of gravity is one of the most important discoveries of all time, and who knows where the world of physics would be today without his discovery. Perhaps Einstein's general fear of relativity wouldn't have been even created. As the story goes, Newton was sitting under an apple tree in his garden, bored out of his mind, when an apple fell from the tree and hit him on the head. This event got him thinking about the force that caused the apple to fall, and he began to wonder whether this force might be the same force that kept the moon in orbit around Earth. Newton spent the next few years developing his theory of universal gravitation. He realized that the force that caused objects to fall towards the Earth was the same force that kept the planets in orbit around the sun. He also developed mathematical formulas that describe the relationship between the mass of two objects and the force of gravity between them. The significance of Newton's discovery of gravity is hard to state. It revolutionized our understanding of physics and the universe and laid the foundation for modern physics. It also had a profound impact on many other fields of science, including astronomy, engineering, and even biology. The key lesson we can learn from this story is that being bored and having the ability to question things can lead to great things. You see, Newton was not afraid of just staying alone with his thoughts in his garden. And of course, 1400 years ago, there was no social media. But still, he was analyzing the world around him and connecting to it in a way. His mind wasn't distracted, which led him to question the apple that fell on his head. Today, situations like this are much less likely to happen because people are losing touch with nature and do not want to spend their time alone with their minds. Similar to Newton, James Watt, who's a Scottish scientist who came up with an idea for a steam engine, while watching a boiling kettle in his kitchen, bored and distracted by the sound it was making, which he found an inefficient and wasteful way to generate steam. At the time, steam engines were already in use, but they were inefficient. An unreliable Watt was fascinated by the potential of steam power, and he set out to design a more efficient engine that could be used in a wide range of applications, from powering factories to propelling ships. Watt's invention had a profound impact and shaped the world the way it is today. This is another great example of how boredom led Watt's mind to creativity and ability to come with a new revolutionary idea. I'll give you one last example, but it will be about a person much closer to us in the timeline: Steve Jobs. Jobs was famously known for his ability to come up with innovative ideas, and it is said that he did some of his best thinking during periods of boredom. For example, he reportedly came up with an idea for the iPod while on a plane boarded with the limited entertainment options available to him. Great philosophers also have a lot to say about boredom. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "He who completely entrenches himself against boredom also entrenches himself against himself. He will never get to drink the most pent, refreshing draw from the deepest well of his being." Immanuel Kant believed that boredom can inspire us to look beyond our immediate surroundings and explore new ideas and possibilities. By embracing boredom and allowing ourselves to experience the discomfort it brings, we can open ourselves up to discoveries and innovations. You have to learn to love being alone in some way. Bored, not lonely, but alone. Enjoy your existence and learn not to be bored from it. Use boredom to find your true self and practice mindfulness, full focus on the current moment. Understanding that you shouldn't be afraid of boredom, and instead embracing it and using it to become a better person is a very important concept. Get comfortable with your own thoughts, and nothing will be able to stand in your way. Great ideas often arise from the depths of boredom, for it is in the moments of boredom that we are forced to confront the limitations of our present circumstances and are inspired to explore new possibilities. It was a pleasure to create this video, and I wish you a great day.